Greetings, travelers. Welcome to Planet Buster. Initiating interstellar in-flight sequence. Powering navigation systems. Broadcast signal established. Thrusters at full momentum. Preparing for Planet Buster's launch in 3, 2, 1.
Hello! What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another riveting episode of Planet Buster, the once again three-headed space monster of podcasts, because along with myself, Shane, and Dan, what's up, Dan?
Same old, you know, things, stuff, more things.
Events and happenings.
Pretty much stuff that happens and some other things, nothing big.
Fascinating. But along with us, your typical normal co-pilots, once again, we have Brandon with us. Hi, Brandon.
What's up, world? Shane? Dan?
How are you, since we've pretended we weren't talking for hours before this?
Hey, well, I'm good.
Cool. This is fascinating radio. So we know that last week we went a little heavy with our topic of diversity, and we wanted to go back a little bit to our roots, do something that it's what we made the podcast for, and that's talking about movies. But instead of talking about something we've just gone to see, we want to talk about stuff that is on the horizon. So this is the first episode of what may be a monthly series, maybe bi-monthly, depending on what's going on. But we like to call this Trailermania. Can you tell I'm a wrestling fan? So the premise is simple. We watch a whole bunch of trailers for movies, either new ones that just came out or something that's not, trailers that aren't too old. I would say things that are still relevant right now. And we're just going to give our opinions on them, whether we think they look good, whether we think the movies are going in the right direction. Maybe we have opinions on what they could do or what we hope for the film. And, it's just shooting the shit about the things you see before your movie starts. So, leaving it simple and going for probably the one that is on most people's minds right now. Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
I mean, yeah, it looked pretty good. I mean, there's not really much to tell what the story's about. It just kind of looks like a bunch of stuff so far.
Yeah, Star Wars trailers tend to be more of like, well, I guess all trailers are more like flashy, just quick slideshows of, oh, look at these cool events that are going on. You definitely want to come see this. Star Wars is less of an intense, like there is action, but it's like, instead of a slideshow, it's a collage. Yeah. It's art in and of itself.
I like that there seems to be, I guess, a mystery to it, which, I mean, that's kind of what trailers are supposed to do, but
that's a good point.
I like that it was just kind of very bare bones, like, little flashes here and there. I don't think they gave away any plot, which is what a trailer is supposed to do. As someone who, like, is kind of just getting into Star Wars, like, I really am excited for it. Like, I really think that was an effective trailer, because we still don't know what Luke Skywalker's role in this whole thing is, and I think that, I mean, with a title like The Last Jedi, like, that could mean anything, and I'm just very excited to find out what's going on with that.
Yeah, I think the subtitle of the film is a good talking point, because I know when they first announced that it was titled The Last Jedi, people were up in arms, like, oh no, does that mean Rey is going to be the last Jedi? And I know a lot of the, would you say, public relations, the people controlling social media, a lot of them came out for Disney was coming out and just saying, like, no, Jedi is plural. It's supposed to represent both Rey and Luke. And I don't know if I believe that. I've heard a lot of this stuff before. You've seen plenty of movies like I think of Star Trek Into Darkness, where they're like, Benedict Cumberbatch is definitely not Khan. It's definitely not Khan. Surprise, it's fucking Khan.
Right.
We all knew it was Khan. We all saw it coming. And then there's this rumor, based on some points that Mark Hamill made, like I think back when the first Star Wars movie came out, or maybe it was when Empire Strikes Back came out. I'm not sure. Where essentially he was explaining what he wanted to see done with Luke, and it was essentially Luke becoming a Sith Lord. It was Luke turning to the dark side, and there's rumor going around, especially like with the new trailer that just got. I mean, not the new trailer, the new poster that got dropped,
Right.
where it's Rey. I think it's a reenactment of the New Hope poster as well, isn't it? With
It's been a while since I've seen that.
well, like that's the one where Luke is like holding the lightsaber overhead and it's like going into space.
Yeah.
They did a recreation of that with Rey, but the blue lightsaber turns into a red lightsaber at the top of it, and actually that's where Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker's faces are. So people are thinking that maybe instead of just being like a cool placement for a face, they're thinking that there's more to it than that, and this may be Luke going away from the Luke's been what's been referred to as a gray Jedi, someone that kind of like walks the balance between light and dark, leaning more towards the light, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of ruminations right now that Luke may be going off the deep end and joining his father.
I don't know. It's always like cheap to me.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's always like an idea of like, what if Luke Skywalker was bad? I'm like, and that kind of ruins Jedi. Like the point of Jedi was he resisted temptation, and unlike his father, went to the side of the light and was a Jedi through and through. Like that was kind of the point. Even as much as I hate the fucking like prequels, it was kind of the fucking point.
Oh yeah, those were the arguments against it.
Well, we haven't seen him yet. You know, we haven't really seen this older Luke Skywalker. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be cheap, but like, I feel like if they do it organically and it's not just like I killed a bunch of children or something and now I'm like, I feel like it would be interesting to see.
I know, going off of that, I don't see from watching The Force Awakens, I don't see a reason for Luke to go completely dark.
Right.
At least not evil in the sense of it. Because think about it, why did Luke run away in the first place? Because Kylo Ren killed all of the other Jedi. Kylo Ren went crazy and he murdered all of his other students. Luke had a freaking identity crisis and a crisis of faith and ran. So the only reason I could think of Luke wanting to turn to the dark side would be for revenge, but it would be revenge against the dark side. So I don't necessarily see why he would turn to it to destroy it, because that's such a generic storyline too.
I think it's more in the case of just like he's almost in like a very neutral, like every time the Jedi have tried to come forth, like it's always spawned evil. There's never balance between the forces. It's always this waging war. And
What if he's just a dark Jedi? Like, what if he's still... Now, bear with me, because I don't really know the mechanics of the light and dark side, so just bear with me, guys.
Oh, this is gonna be great. I can't wait to have the Star Wars fans just kicking our doors down and explaining how the Force works. Go ahead, Brandon.
Blame me. It's not these guys, it's me.
We'll send Brandon's address to you if you mail
Right. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely something darker. I feel like he is troubled, for lack of better. I feel like he's very like you said, he tried with the Jedi and they all fucking died. Like, and I'm interested to see how he kind of is dealing with it and how what that tragedy happening as to like the Jedi does to someone who is also a Jedi, who like what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because with the way you were describing him, like I was thinking of Kylo Ren. Like he's very like, he's gone through this tragedy and like he's dealing with all this darkness. And I think it'd be an interesting like parallel to see like Kylo Ren kind of is fighting the dark side. But he pretty much
Wow. I think it's succumbed.
Okay. All you grammar Nazis, don't kill me.
Can you tell that we write professionally?
But yeah, I feel like it's a parallel between him and Kylo Ren, which is like Kylo Ren kind of succumbed to the dark side, and I feel like now we're gonna see what has happened to Luke Skywalker. You know, like I'm just very interested to see what kind of a teacher is he gonna be. Like, how is he gonna teach her? Like, and just is he gonna be like a Yoda? Is he gonna be ruthless with her? Like, I'm just very interested to see this old Luke Skywalker and how he has aged, like both like with his use of the Force and who he is as a person, as a character.
And speaking of the teacher, we have to look at the student as well. We have our new main character Rey, who had, in my opinion, an awesome showing in the last one. Arguably a bit of a Mary Sue, but what protagonist isn't really? Do you think that they're going to maybe even that out a little bit, especially with her needing to train? I have a feeling that she's not going to pick up on the Force immediately. I have a feeling that this is going to be the time where she went from, I'm naturally good at everything, and then she meets Luke, and Luke's like, you suck. You're terrible. I could teach you how to be better, but you need to listen to me, because we all know that Rey is also very, I don't want to say, very, very stubborn. I don't want to say stubborn, but set in her ways, very determined. So is Luke Skywalker. So it'll be interesting to see those heads butt against each other.
I have faith in the Star Wars writers. I think that a smart move would be to see her struggle with it and to see her kind of overcome her stubbornness, for lack of a better term. Here we go again. I think that it's a good move to give her some kind of conflict, that isn't, some kind of internal conflict that's like, okay, I know that I'm naturally good at the Force, but there's something else that, I just am not seeing in myself yet. And I think that it'd be a very interesting character development for her. And I think that, to answer your question, I don't think that she's going to be this all-powerful, naturally good at the Force. I think that was just to kind of introduce her character and to kind of, I guess, speed things along, I guess.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially since that was like the beginning of the last part of this trilogy. Like, I think that was why they did all that. I think now we're gonna see a slower progression of her dealing with her powers and dealing with the Force and becoming, whatever she becomes, whether she becomes a Jedi, which all signs point to yes, or if they pull something completely out of left field,
I really don't think they're gonna swerve with the main character. This is a WWE episode where she's gonna like brain Luke with a steel chair and just rip her shirt off, and it says like First Order for life. She spray paints her lightsaber with the First Order logo. It'll be the best heel turn ever. We also have the fact that we lost both main trio characters from the original trilogy within the course of a year, because in character Han Solo, but both in and out of character now, Princess Leia with the passing of Carrie Fisher, which leaves Luke on his own with that too, so I'm sure that'll weigh on his mind in the film. We also have the other two members of this trilogy we also have the two other members of the modern trio in Finn and Poe Dameron. I'm sure Poe is going to have some pretty badass
pilot stuff.
Yeah,
like,
some pretty
there's nothing like
cool X-wing fights. It's pretty much what he does.
he and BB-8 are running towards a X-wing and it explodes. There's nothing really
Yeah.
else to kind of see from that.
And Finn's unconscious, so.
still, he got his ass kicked, and he is still recovering from getting his ass kicked.
Oh man, that's gonna be like the easiest paycheck ever. But it looks like the gang is all still there, and they're going to. I'm not sure if teamwork is going to be a big factor in this film. Probably, they like to pull their characters together. Speaking of teamwork, moving on to the next trailer, we're going from the big screen down to Netflix because the Defenders trailer has dropped. How do you feel about the first team up between Marvel's Netflix heroes? Because I don't know. I really love Daredevil. Jessica Jones was fantastic. I loved Luke Cage for like the first half and then kind of fell off. I could not get into Iron Fist at all. And
You and I think everyone who's ever tried to watch Iron Fist could not sit through it.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
really tried to keep going. It's just it's boring. It's not like I actually read something this morning. I don't remember where the source material is, so sorry if I quote you and don't give you credit. But I read that Iron Fist is Steven Seagal light, which is really accurate because they don't feel like Daredevil. Wickedly choreographed fight scenes. Iron Fist, maybe a couple seconds. You figure the guy who's the best martial artist in the world would have the best martial arts scenes in the Netflix canon.
Like, you think the guy with an iron fist is actually going to punch shit.
Nope.
He just punches a wall. That
Yeah.
counts. That counts.
Yeah, he's got a glow stick hand and he punches doors down, I guess. But it does seem like, as it was with the Avengers, it does seem that they're taking a lot of these character flaws and overshadowing them with the numbers. Because the more people you have, the more you can focus on just the good things. You don't really have to be focus in on these negatives, because if someone has a negative, another character in the team can probably cover them on that.
Right.
So, the idea of putting Iron Fist and Daredevil together in a fight scene gives me some hope, because maybe we'll get something more to Iron Fist's speed.
Yeah.
Like the character's speed.
Yeah.
Out of the on-screen performance. But yeah, what are you guys thinking?
I mean, I'm not really too worried about it, to be honest. When I looked at it, and I'd like to know more about how the villain's going to be playing into the main thing, and how these guys are going to come together. And
Oh yeah, I know
do that
there's
kind of
I know
stuff.
there's a lot of speculation on who Sigourney Weaver is going to be playing. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, if anything, I'm cautiously optimistic about it, in all honesty. There's not really too much that spoke to me no. I mean,
Looking to dip your toes in the pool before you jump in, essentially.
Yeah.
pretty much. I mean, the fact that Iron Fist actually punched someone with his glowing hand in the trailer actually already said, oh, okay. They're already improving a little bit. And,
They've learned.
yeah, I mean, if anything, it just seems more like a safe kind of bet that it's going to be good, at least in this term.
I just hope the villain's not the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so sick
they've
of it.
already had,
Oh, actually, no, it is. I forgot Elektra and the Hand are the villain. They actually showed them in the trailer.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I just went from really, optimistic to just, oh, right.
well, maybe they're just in a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, Sigourney Weaver is the main villain of the thing, so who knows?
She's probably working with the Hand, but let's hope she does something
Yeah,
on
'cause,
her own.
The Hand's got had what, 2 fucking shows already where they're the villains?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have.
seriously. I think it's gonna. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that it's gonna be good. I think I would care about it a lot more if I watched Iron Fist. And I think
I would argue otherwise.
well, rather, I think I would care about Iron Fist more if I watched Iron. I don't know. I'm interested to see the dynamics, how the dynamics play, because in the trailer, I mean, we're obviously gonna get Daredevil and Jessica Jones, but I'm excited to see, like Shane was saying, I'm excited to see Daredevil and Iron Fist kind of have scenes together and have fight scenes together, and how those characters are gonna play off of each other, and whether they're gonna get along, which they're probably not, because it's basically the Avengers, and the Avengers didn't get along at first. And I think that it's a smart move because it it kind of brings, like, if you watch Daredevil but for some reason didn't watch Luke Cage or Jessica Jones or Iron Fist, uh, it's
No, there are plenty of reasons why you didn't watch Iron Fist.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that Defenders is going to be good. I don't think that it is a mistake to make a group show, you know what I mean? I think that it's a good opportunity for people that maybe, haven't seen these shows before, like they want to get into it. I think it'll be a good show to kind of introduce them into the Marvel TV world. And the trailer makes it look exciting. The trailer makes it look like it's what you want to see from these characters interacting and being in the same space in New York, even though it's literally across the street, like where they. But
that's actually kind of interesting to hear. You think that this could be a good like jumping point for newcomers into the Marvel universe? Because typically these groups, like these group shows or group events, are more for like, hey, you've sat here and watched all of our stuff. Come in and party with all your favorite characters. But it does kind of make sense that once you witness all the characters at the same time, that you'd want to go back and see what they were doing individually. Ironically, a bit more DC than
yeah, right.
than Marvel. Which actually we'll get into when we talk about Wonder Woman later. But Marvel's, Defenders isn't the only thing that Marvel's doing right now, because the trailer for the new Thor movie, Ragnarok, what Dan calls Guardians of the Galaxy 3,
Accurate.
yes, just dropped, and whoo, does this look fun? Maybe I'm biased because I really like Thor, but this looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I mean, it's all sorts of fun.
It's got Hulk in it. I'm sold. I don't care what they do.
Yeah, it seems that like whenever Hulk shows up in a Marvel movie, like you at least know that the stuff with Hulk is going to be entertaining. Which is kind of the opposite of like when these movies first started getting made. Like,
Yeah.
if you saw the Hulk, it's just, oh god, this is probably going to be terrible. Now you see the Hulk and you know it's just going to be mayhem, which I'm really excited about. But I think what's really, just from what I've seen, what's really important is for the first time in a Thor movie, we're going to be able to see this, I don't know, fun Thor, if that makes sense. Ironically, in Ragnarok, but okay, so Thor's humanity has been something that was explored in the last two movies, but I don't feel it came out as strongly as it did in like the Avengers.
Right.
And I feel like Ragnarok is the first time we're going to be able to see that in the actual like Thor trilogy, which like a fun protagonist is key, especially to a lot of these Marvel movies where they try to keep things optimistic. I think that's part of the reason why Guardians is such a popular series.
Yeah, exactly.
And adding that to Thor with I was going to say with the powers of Thor, but Mjolnir has been destroyed, which is going to be an interesting twist to see how Thor handles that, because this is definitely not the first time that Thor has had to go without his hammer. At least in the movie canon it is, but in general, it's not the first time the character has lost Mjolnir, and I'm interested to see how they pull it off on the big screen.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's anything with this one, I would count this is Thor. We promise this one's actually going to be really good version, because it looks like the things that were not so good in the Thor movies, they are taking out. So
I'm
no more
really glad.
Pointless Kat Dennings missaying Mjolnir crap.
I think it's really
really fucking annoying.
I think it's really funny that he said that and then mispronounced Mjolnir. Milner. Yeah.
That was on purpose. Wink, wink.
As he slowly backs out the door. No, but like I think it's easy to say that I think I'm probably the biggest Thor fanboy here. I have a Mjolnir keychain on my keys, so I was gonna go see this whether it looked good or not. And I'm just gonna point out, I hated Thor: Dark World. I hated it. I thought it was the worst like Marvel movie I've ever seen. That's counting Iron Man 2, just because like the villain was forgettable to the point that I didn't even realize it was Malekith until like it was over.
Right. There was like, it just kind of felt like it was fucking pointless.
It felt like filler. This movie feels like it has substance. I with this dude,
Yeah.
come on, Hela as the main antagonist, that's going to be insane. And
Ah, yes, Loki's daughter that I definitely knew that was before this moment right now.
yeah, no. You can. I normally would nod and wink and let you go on with that, but I told him that during the trailer. Laugh at him, point and laugh at him. No, but yeah, Loki's daughter. How are they gonna pull that off?
Well,
Are they gonna maybe like just get rid of the connection altogether? I wouldn't want that.
they're probably gonna find some way to kind of work around it. Like, I wouldn't be too surprised. I mean,
I wouldn't either, but
it's something they could probably pull out of their ass. Like, chances are they're probably gonna redo it where she's just like Lord of the Underworld or some kind of shit like that, instead of just it's Loki's daughter because,
no, because that I think that gives. Okay, so here's my biggest beef. Tom Hiddleston is a great Loki, but I don't feel like. I feel like the popularity started because of his portrayal, and then it turned into like a Loki heartthrob thing. And personally, for me, I would love Hela to be his daughter because it shuts that down. It lets people appreciate Tom Hiddleston's performance and the writing for Loki again. And
what if like the opposite happens, where you get a bunch of guys being like, "I can change her. She
I
may
can
look evil, and wear a pointy hat, but I can change her and melt her heart to ice."
oh man, I would pay so much money to see a bunch of guys like Twilight out over a Marvel character. That
I
would
know
just
they're just
be,
like out. They're
just
like
be the best.
Team Blanchett. Blanchett. Man,
man.
like it's probably like the first time you're gonna see a bunch of people like swingers be like, "Oh my God, Kate Blanchett! Oh my Lord!"
And then you have Jeff Goldblum coming in, which I love how much he's embraced his character. He looks fucking ridiculous, and it's great. But I'm really excited to see what they do with Thor. I personally like the redesign, like the new look. I like it. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people had a problem with him cutting his hair. I think it looks alright. I think it's a cool new look.
That's
whatever,
probably
it's
because
a
Chris
fucking-
Hemsworth was like, guys, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna cut my fucking hair, and I'm putting this helmet on. Like,
Yeah, it could definitely be like just a pure actor thing, but I just think it's like much needed change of look. I feel like with the big change of the trilogy, because they're trying to do things different. As Dan was saying, they're really trying to cut their losses and make a film that will draw in that fan base that really like the Avengers movies, or I should say the first Avengers and kind of like the second one, and bring them over to Thor. And
I mean, also kind of helps that the director and writer on there is actually a pretty talented guy. I cannot pronounce his name to save my fucking life. But he's worked on Flight of Conchords and What We Do in the Shadows, which are really fucking good.
Yeah,
Solid
those
stuff.
are
And I mean, a lot of what he works in is comedy. And hey, surprise, surprise! Marvel Universe does a lot of comedy. Hey, but I'm interested to see what kind of stuff they're. I'm interested to see what kind of like style he would bring as far as like the action and as far as like the big superhero kind of moments. Like, my fear is like, because it's one of my little fears is like there's gonna be too much shit that goes on. So it's gonna be like, hey, we've got Hulk, we got Doctor Strange, we got this guy.
overpopulation.
Little-
yeah, they're going to
little-
Spider-Man 3 it. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, although
Not even
like
Spider-Man like 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like they well even you put those together actually. Look at all of these superhero films that have just bit the dust because of being too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks. No, but there's just too many people, and you can't really spend the time to get to know certain characters when they're all getting thrown at you like a toy sale.
so this has potential. Like, looking at this one, I'm more excited that this Thor movie looks like it's taking itself like. If anything, looking at this, it really does look like they just kind of looked at the last two movies and be like, okay, this element kind of sucked, this kind of sucked, why the fuck do we have this fucking character come back again? Fuck it, we're just gonna do it where he's in fucking Asgard, fucking shit up, and I don't know, the Hulk shows up.
Yeah, and then the Hulk's there, and then that's the end of it. But, you know, interestingly enough, this isn't the only superhero film coming out. This is coming out this year, right? Thor Ragnarok's coming out this year?
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, so it's not the only superhero film coming out this year that's inspired by ancient mythology, because Wonder Woman is going to have her first live action, well, not live, I think Wonder Woman had another live action, but her first major live action cinematic release.
Yeah, like, this is her first, like, official, like, cinematic kind of, like, actual appearance. Like, I mean, as far as, like, actually a movie. Like, a lot of it's just been, like, TV specials and shit.
And I know that while Batman v Superman definitely was a missed shot, we'll say, I enjoyed Wonder Woman, and it gave me some hope for the Wonder Woman film. And the new trailer looks pretty fun. I mean, all the DC trailers look pretty fun, so I've been burned before. But I want to know what you guys are thinking.
Well, on my world, hope means fear. And I fear this is just going to be the same shit that we've seen before.
That was the most convoluted reference ever. Superman, what the S is hope, and the word hope where I'm from means
Whatever, I'm Jesus. I'm space
I'm Jesus.
I am Jesus. Yeah.
And I don't know, and Wonder Woman in this one's probably going to be space. No, space.
Oh man, is this like the 80s where everything was in space? Is that what's going on right now?
Probably.
Oh man, but actually, I think Wonder Woman might be free of those allegories, because think about it, she doesn't need to pretend to be a god. She kind of is one,
Right?
Or at least is descendant of them.
Yeah.
So
like, apparently, I think they're going with the whole like origin story of her being Zeus's daughter kind of
Oh,
thing.
sweet.
which I think is awesome,
Yeah.
and I'm all for it. I will tell you, I'm a bit nervous about the love angle with Chris Pine. I am a bit nervous on that. I feel like relationship storylines, hold a lot of potential down, especially in the first movie. I don't have a problem with it. I just feel like every superhero needs a love interest now, and I'd like to see a film where they didn't need one.
This would be the perfect movie for that, because she doesn't even know what men are. Right? Like, she's never been around men, like, right? Am I wrong? Like,
So is this gonna be like? Is she gonna act out like some weird like Ariel for the first time, figuring out things? Like she looks at Chris Pine. What is that doodle hopper?
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? No, I think my biggest concern with that too is like Wonder Woman is, especially in an age where representation is a big deal. Wonder
Yeah.
Woman is the female superhero. She is like the standout among the the few, and this is a big moment. This is the first time Wonder Woman gets a big cinematic release. I'm scared that this relationship, this romance storyline, is going to undermine that.
I mean, I already know where the fuck it's gonna go. I mean, if you've seen Batman v Superman, spoilers, it's like nearly.
is his name Martha?
That's why Batman was friends with her at the end.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I've heard the joke a million times and I wasn't ready.
I think that you're absolutely right, Shane. Like, this movie is so important for women and girls and just like representation in general, and like this is the first, like we were saying, this is like the first time that Wonder Woman has had a cinematic, like really big cinematic release. Like, I just hope, pardon the pun, but I hope that they do it justice. Like, I hope that they give her what she's due. Please stop laughing.
No, that was a great pun. That was a fantastic pun. I thought you were going to say, I hope they make this movie wonderful, so I'm really glad you went with like the more, I don't know, realistic phrase. Oh
Yeah.
man, puns are great.
But yeah, I don't want this to be like a rom-com with fucking Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be like, oh,
I really doubt that's where they're going with this. I mean,
I would be fucking.
I
I'd be
really doubt, like, considering, like, the whole, like, we're super fucking serious.
Though to be honest
Take it
with you,
serious.
to be honest with you, with how often DC films have bombed recently, I would love to see them do a rom-com with Wonder Woman. Because if you're gonna suck, or well,
suck
actually,
hard.
yeah, I was actually trying to avoid make. I was gonna say suck with style. I think a better one would be like.
It's even worse.
I know. It's so bad. It's so bad. I'm like a walking fucking Jolly Rancher commercial. But just if you're gonna go down, oh god, that's even worse.
Go down swinging.
If you're gonna fail, do it with style.
Right, like, I feel like if anything,
I'm gonna stop talking now.
I feel like with anything, Wonder Woman has the most potential to be something interesting. As far as Gal Gadot's performance, I mean, I wasn't really impressed in Batman v Superman, but, you know, that was because it was Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
But
I feel
on
like
the
when
other-
she was actually kicking some ass, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's Zack Snyder's, like, MO, is, like, things looking cool.
And when you think about it too, this is
I meant like looking realistic, like to the character, not.
All right.
and when you think about it, like this is important for you know, Wonder Woman's character as a whole. But also, I mean, you think about it, and it's like we got Wonder Woman, and now we've got Captain Marvel coming eventually. I don't really know, but like, so this is kind of like, I want to say, setting the bar, I guess, for like superhero movies that are the main character is a woman. Like, I really hope that this is a good movie. Like, I really hope that this is something that people are gonna be like, wow, like this is really, really like well done and well thought out, and like they didn't just, you know, put it together last minute. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be worthy of this cinematic like release. I want it to be as good as Wonder Woman is as a character. That's how good this movie needs to be.
Yeah, there's a lot riding on the film. It's got a lot of responsibility. I know you mentioned Captain Marvel, which I completely blanked on it being like Marvel's Captain Marvel. I thought you were talking about Shazam, and I was like, what? That's happening too? Which I'm pretty sure that is too. Isn't that getting?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, different entirely. But, yeah, there's a lot of potential right now to do women some justice. And there's that fucking pun again. I hate you so much. But we have a chance to see... We have a chance to see some women actually kick some ass and not just be like a side feature like Black Widow. Sorry, Black Widow is a fucking accessory to the Avengers as far as I'm concerned. Because at the end of the day, like, you have a god, you have a monster, you have a super soldier, and a guy in an iron suit that's shooting fucking laser beams and missiles, and she can shoot guns. It's a cool thing. She's a cool character, but we're finally starting to get these characters, these female characters that don't need the team to go up against super powerful beings, and I'm looking forward to it, and I really hope they don't fuck this up.
I mean, right now DC's 3 for 3 with me, and not even just DC, but mostly just the DCU is 3 for 3 with me. So who knows? Maybe they just changed the batter and they actually hit a home run on this one. It's got potential. Ares, the god of war, leading a bunch of fucking Nazis in World War II. You know what? That sounds pretty cool. That sounds like some nice pulp kind of thing. It sounds like Captain America mixed with Thor.
It does, actually.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I feel like they're going to fuck it up because they're going to edit it like shit, and the writing's going to be terrible.
But I think really what we're trying to say with Wonder Woman is, like, we want it to be good. We don't think it'll be that great because we've been burned before. So I think we're optimistic, but we're kind of walking slower into it just because, like I said, we've been burned before and we don't really want to get burned again. So don't fuck it up.
Yeah, it would be wonderful to actually see a good Wonder Woman movie.
I would be so happy to finally come on this podcast and say, hey, we really liked a DC movie.
Yeah.
Specifically Wonder Woman, but just in general. But I think now it's about time we step away from all the superpowers and the superheroes. Talk about our last trailer
Yeah.
for the day. We were kind of fighting between the two Stephen King releases because there's Dark Tower and It. And Dark Tower is kind of summed up in like, hey, Idris Elba looks like he's gonna have some cool shooting scenes. Matthew McConaughey is cool. Please don't give him a kid sidekick. You gave him a kid sidekick. Why'd you give him a kid sidekick? So I think what we really want to talk about, what's really been the talk of a lot of websites, a lot of Facebook timelines, is It, the cinematic remake of It. And Dan, I know as our horror expert here, you're probably gonna have more to say than we do.
Yeah.
But two trailers have dropped. The second one actually quite recently. So what's your take on the clown?
I mean, clown looks fine.
Are you scared of clowns?
No.
Good.
Like, I've never been scared of clowns.
I'm not scared of clowns. Clowns just piss me off.
Like, the only time
Yeah.
a clown has ever looked scary was maybe Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but that was just because it looked fucking ugly as shit.
You know what's weird? Like I totally understand why people are scared of clowns. It's that uncanny valley effect. I've told people I don't like clowns, and they think that translates to being afraid of them. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't want to run from clowns. I want to kick their ass. They really annoy me. I just want to be able to go to a place. I feel like if I go to a restaurant or like some kind of public thing, and there's like family night, and there's a fucking clown or like a mascot, I know they're gonna come up to me because I'm usually one of the bigger guys in the room, and they love to go up to the tall big guy and mess with him. And I hate that shit. Leave me alone. To the point that like I've gone to circuses and they've had clowns outside, and I'm just like, you come near me, I'm gonna suplex you in front of like 30 kids, and we'll see if that painted smile stays upright. But I feel like it even before tapped into a primal fear that a lot of people had.
Yeah, I mean, clowns are kind of a little creepy than idea when you think about it. It's like, oh, it's supposed to be this nice kid thing, but instead it's this freaking guy with a huge nose, a white face, and some beady eyes going, "Hey, kids, what you doing?"
Oh my
and trying to make
God.
you laugh, and it's just like, just get it the fuck away from me.
Wow,
What the fuck is that?
That actually kind of
Yeah,
I kind of got a little I got a little chill thinking about that.
Yeah.
A little chill thinking about that. And I think that there's no better time for it to like come back into the fold than after this past Halloween with all these fucking clowns that get popping up and scaring the shit out of people.
The killer clowns, yes.
So hey, great timing. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but great timing. I would
Be a
be
dick move if it was on timing.
I would have been if you told me right now that the producers for It went out and paid some people and were like, hey, go dress up like creepy clowns and stand out in public and get people afraid of clowns again, I wouldn't be surprised. That's how fucked up viral marketing is.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This It actually looks scary.
I mean, yeah, I think
Yeah.
for me, being the big horror fan, like most people would say, oh, but what about like the original miniseries and everything like that? Like, wasn't it so great? Like, come on, it can't outdo it. Like, the thing is, yeah, the miniseries is kind of fun to watch and like a kind of almost like I almost want to say bad movie kind of vibe a little bit.
It's a very B movie kind of feel.
Like, yeah, very B movie, like almost like kind of a soap opera with Tim Curry as a clown running around it.
Yeah.
I feel like here's my thing. I hate the original TV series. I think it's terrible. Tim Curry's fun, but I'm not sure if I like Tim Curry as Pennywise because he did a really good performance, or because I like Tim Curry and he was fucking crazy. Which, Tim Curry is want to do. But I just found myself really boring. I was one of those ones who heard about It. I never saw it when I was a kid. I know a lot of people who did, and they grew up telling me that they were terrified of clowns because of the movie and that it was the scariest thing they ever saw. I saw it when I was in my teens and could not believe that people were afraid. I was laughing through the movie. It was so corny. That the spider thing at the end. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
I stood up and I was just like, it's fucking James and the Giant Peach up in here. Like, how are you scared of this stop motion bullshit? He looks like Jack Skellington.
Like, yeah, like there's some like little scenes in the original movie. Like, I'm not gonna turn this into a fucking review of like the original It. That's already a project that's in works.
Tune in.
But for me, it's like looking at it as like a just a general a movie and even an adaptation, if you want to go further, it leaves a lot to be desired. Like a lot in terms of like just direction, acting, pacing, storytelling. There's just a lot to be desired, and I feel like with this one, again, I don't personally know if it's going to be good. So far, I like what I see about it, and I'm more interested in it. Like, it seems like the cast is going to have a decent amount of chemistry with each other since it's going to be, like, this is going to be, like, a two-part kind of thing.
Right.
Like, the first movie's going to be about them as just kids. Just the kids. Perfect. Already, that's the biggest strength of the story in general, was, like, the kids banding together to stop some evil clown. Cool. And then like the second movie's gonna be with them as adults trying to block out those memories and stuff like that. And like that's kind of cool. That's a good element to kind of do as like a two-part movie.
I'm interested to see the second film. The first one I feel is hitting on the strengths of the original TV series and the strengths of the novel, and especially with like Stranger Things being as popular as it was.
Oh yeah.
The capitalizing on kids going up against a creepy, supernatural entity. It pays the bills. It's a popular angle to go from. So I have faith in this first film. The second film, where the adults come in, that's where it fell off for me in the original series.
Right.
So I'm interested to see. Do they already have a cast for the adults?
I don't even think they announced anything about that.
Okay.
Like the most I've heard is that they're working on the script for it.
I'd be very interested to see who they cast as the adults.
Yeah.
I think casting is going to matter a lot going into that film.
Yeah.
And just capitalize, get some people who know what they're doing, and keep it eerie. Don't fill it with balloons. You can have some balloons. Don't fill it with balloons.
Unless maybe those balloons are filled with blood. Then maybe, because this is going to be R-rated.
True.
So that is like the bigger strength, is like because one of the bigger things in like the original movie is like they couldn't do like too much violence against kids, despite the fact that the premise is a clown trying to kill a bunch of kids.
Right.
So, but they couldn't really show that. So like, at least
Hey, Georgie, I'm gonna stare at you for a long time.
this is scary. But like, at least in this one, it seems like there's at least more of the possibility of like, oh, this thing's actually trying to kill the kids, and and there's gonna be some blood, and there's gonna be some stuff like. I don't need to be like one of the kids getting their fucking heads ripped off and him like Mortal Kombat style.
Like licking the blood off the bottom of it.
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah, but like it seems like they're introducing like the stuff that could add a little bit more weight to the story, add a little bit more fright to it, and that's what I'm interested in. Whether it'll actually be good, I have no fucking idea. Obviously, I mean that's the same thing we say for all these fucking movies. But
Right.
as a horror fan, it's just like this is one of those reboots that when I first heard about it, I'm like, yeah, I would kind of like to see someone get another stab at that because there's some really interesting concepts and like there's a really cool premise in that book that just really wasn't translated that well and really could have had a lot of potential that just really seemed to be just kind of like I mean,
Yeah, it definitely. The trailer definitely seems like it's a horror movie. Like obviously, but like there's a lot of really good suspense. There's a lot of really good acting. I think that the trailer sells the movie, which is what it's supposed to do. I think that it's going to be.
Wait, isn't it about time a trailer sells a movie?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like we can put the bow tie on this neat little present we have for all of you listening out there. Trailermania 1. If you like Trailermania, if you've enjoyed this stuff, let us know. We definitely want to keep doing them. We think it's fun to predict the future, so to speak. Plus, we always have opinions on trailers, so you can definitely hear us bitching about them in the theater whenever we go see movies.
We have a lot of free time.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be running this website if we didn't.
That's true. Yeah.
But again, thank you for listening to another episode of Planet Buster. We really appreciate the support. I know it means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to the guys. It means a lot to Sarah. I'm going to speak for her. She says, hi. How's your mother?
Hi, how's your sister?
How's your sister?
Do they float?
And they all float down here. So again, thanks for tuning in. Because not only do they all float down there, but we all float out in deep space, where I think that's where we're returning. So signing off for now, I'm Shane.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Dan.
And we'll see you next time. Hey guys, if you've enjoyed this recent session of having a photon torpedo of awesome blasted into your ear holes, then feed the two-headed beast that is Planet Buster by following us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and check out our own personal website where we have all kinds of podcast episodes and blogs for you to enjoy. Also, don't forget to check out our friend Brody Milne at his SoundCloud. He's the cool dude who made our sweet theme song. You know, it's pretty awesome. Until next time, see you, space travelers.